Hello and welcome back. I'm ShyWizard, and continuing on with my videos for carrots. In my last video we looked at how to make a carrot harvester based on the Grimmy Tektron 415, but I said in that particular video I wanted to look into the actual Holmer package, the Holmer multi-rotor. The way that that's been set up will now no longer work with the way that we've structured the implementation of getting carrots into a map and all the rest of it with the new scripting and everything else. The way that they are harvested is absolutely correct in my opinion. With the when they go ready to harvest at remove tops and not ready to harvest and all the rest of those bits and pieces. But I wanted to actually look a little bit further into the Holmer situation and see if we could come up with an actual Holmer TerraDos and attachments that would harvest carrots correctly and give us our carrot home and all the rest of it. So what I plan to do, and hopefully we'll be able to do in this particular video, and I have actually done this already. I've created the mods and tested them and they do work, so I know that there is that, and we're going to work with those mods that I've created. But what I've done is I'll show you what I've done here, is I've actually created them as separate individual mods. So we have our cutter header and the TerraDos as two separate mods, and this works perfectly fine. What I want to try and do in this particular video is set it up that they are just one mod package, so just one zip, not two like we have here. And I'm going to see if I can get that to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and walk through right from the beginning here how to create the Holmer TerraDos mod itself, very similar to what we did in the last video. So we're going to just go into Giants Editor, and then basically just do what we did before with the Tektron, and we're going to go open new mod from game, and we just need to find the actual TerraDos in the list here. Again, like I said in the last video, this can be a bit hit and miss, but we found it. There we go. So we have our TerraDos T4-40. That's fine, I'll put it in that folder, it's okay. So we have created our mod. So far we've got that, and I'm going to close that down. What I'll do is I'll just go into my games folder here, my FS17, and we'll just drag that out onto the desktop. Then again, what I need to do is go back into my Giants Editor here and create our second part to the mod itself. So again, file, new mod from game, and we're looking for the HR9 header. So we're going to see if we can find that. Hopefully we can find it quite quickly here. When it's such small, names, designations, it's really difficult to actually pick it out in amongst all of this stuff. There we go, HR9. So we'll click on that one, and this is for our cutter header. So we'll click OK, that's fine, I'll put it in that folder, doesn't matter. So we now have that one as well. We can go save and close that down. Again, I'll go back into my documents folder here, into my FS17 mods folder. Whoops. And we'll just take that out, put it on the desktop as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work with the actual TerraDos setup here, and I'm going to try and bring all of these parts in to this folder so that we end up with one zip, one mod, and it incorporates everything within it. So don't need two mod desks, so I don't need that one, but I need all the other parts. The shaders, I would imagine we're going to work with very similar shaders across both of them. Yep, and the shared ones probably going to be very similar again in some situations. Yeah, but that's fine. What we'll do then is I'm literally going to just copy all of this, leave the mod desk behind because I don't need that. So I'm going to cut it with Control X, come over to here, and we'll paste it in. So we want to merge the folders. Yeah, we don't need to replace those because they're already there, so we can just skip through all that stuff. Okay, so we now have our Holmer TerraDos and our cutter header all in one setup here. Fantastic. So what I want to try and do then is actually create all the bits and pieces that need to work with this. So I'm going to actually refer back to the mods that I've already created here, just to keep the video as short as possible here. So we'll start with the TerraDos here, which I've already put together. So again, like in my last video, we need the add store category. So I'm going to copy that over into my new folder here, if it will let me. There we go. So we've got our Lua script for the store category. That's fine, perfect. So then we need to make a few changes to the actual XML for the mod itself. We'll work with the mod desk in a little bit. So first of all, we're going to open up our XML for the TerraDos here, and you can see we've got some different bits and pieces in here that we need to have a bit of a play around with. So that's the wrong one. Need to open this one first. So if we actually look through all of this stuff, you can see it's set up combine needs cutter, and it requires the HR9, which is what we've also got, but it's set up as beet harvesting. And if we actually look through all of this sort of stuff through here, we will find that it's all set up for sugar beets, obviously, because that's what it's designed to do. Somewhere in amongst all of this stuff, we have sugar beet. There we go. So it's all set up at the moment for sugar beet. But we need to make a few changes there. So I'm going to open up this one, which I've already done. And you can see I've made a couple changes at the top here. So we want our category to be carrot harvesting, same as what we did with the Tectron 415. So I'm just going to take that from there. And obviously, you don't have access to this, so just have to type it in. But that's should be fine. And we're going to overwrite our beet harvesting there. That's fine. Now what we need to do is obviously go through and look for anything to do with sugar beet and then make some changes there. So I'm going to bring up my search window here, and as you can see I did this so it's got my search already in there, and we're just going to go through and find our sugar beet, and then what we're going to do here is going to make our change for the correct fill type, fruit type, whatever, and we'll just change all of these like so, and our fill type will change over to carrot as well. I could bring up my search window again, and we can then go through, just make sure that we've got everything to do with sugar beet, not carrot. And looking at that, I would say we've got everything there. We need to change to carrot. Fantastic. There's one last thing we need to actually change though, because if we come down to the bottom of the actual one I've already created here, again, with my original video when I was using the Holmer TerraDos setup, we weren't getting the correct particles at our cutter side of things, the threshing particles and the rest of it. So what I had to do here is actually come into this area and specify the fill type that would be used for these particles to show up correctly. So if we go back into this one and come down, you can see on this one, which is we've just created now, there's nothing actually showing up in that setup, and that's the standard setup. So we need to actually add in our fill type of carrot into there. So I'm just going to take it from there. We'll come over and we'll just add this in to here. Just make sure it always does that. I don't know why it deletes the quote marks, but that's fine. We'll just put them back in again. So we'll put that one as well. It deleted that quote mark that time. Really weird why it does that, because I'm not selecting the quote marks. I don't know why it deletes it. There we go, it's deleted it again. Never mind. So just make sure you put that back in again, because I don't know why it does that. But anyway, so we have our fill types now set into there. That's fine, perfect. So we can go ahead and save that setup. So now we have our new XML all changed and everything else to accept carrot, and we've set our category so that it works with carrot, the carrot harvester store category, and not potato harvesting. So we can close both of those down because I don't need to be in either of those anymore. And we'll do the same with our HR9 setup here. So this is our newly created one here on the right hand side. So we need to go into the HR9 XML. And again, you can see this one is set up as a cutter, and also we don't need to change that. We need to change it from beet harvesting to carrot harvesting. So I'll just bring up my other one just so that makes it a little easier for the video, so I can just do it by copying and pasting. But again, you'll have to just type all this stuff in. So we have carrot harvesting, so I'm going to take that one from there, paste it into there. We need to change our type category in here to carrot harvesting as well. For our field jobs, our missions, again, I still haven't managed to get that to work. It may be a case of it doesn't recognise in the type category of carrot harvesting for fields. I'm going to look into that in the future and may do an update video or just put it in the description or something like that. I'm not sure yet. Once I get that working, because I really would like to get that to work properly. So again, what we need to do then is come through and find everything to do with sugar beets. So if we come through, we do our search again, so we do sugar beet, and you can see we have one down here. So again, I need to come into here and change this over to carrot, like so. And if I take that, we'll bring up our search. Again, we'll do our search for sugar beet, and we have some more down the bottom here. So we can change these over to carrot as well. Whoops. Like so. And this is again for our fruit preparer and soil harvesting. These are particle effects again that we set up in the first video, which weren't working on the Holmer multi-rotor pack. So we've set all of those parts up in there as well, and we'll just do a find next and we're at the bottom of the document. Fantastic. So we now should have everything set up in there for our fruit types and our particles and everything else for carrots, so we can go ahead and save that. So just pause the video where you need to and go through this and change the appropriate parts, add in what you need to add in and whatever else. Okay, so we've got all of those parts in there. Magical. So next thing we need to do then is obviously look at our mod desks and then update those accordingly. So we'll start with the TerraDos here. So if I bring up this one, this is the one I've already created, and we'll go into our mod desk for the mod that we're creating today. So again, put in your name to say it's your mod, and then we need to bring over some parts. Again, this is something you're going to have to type in, so we may need to pause the video and just put it all in as we go through this sort of stuff. So we're going to bring our title and description, and again, I just call it Holmer TerraDos T4-40. Now what I did originally was I actually had a hyphen, not an underscore, but when I actually then put it into game, it wouldn't accept the hyphen. It didn't like it. So just make sure you put an underscore in there, or just take the underscore out or whatever else and just have it sort of like that if you want. But I wanted to have the hyphen in there or something to separate it. But just don't put an underscore. Just don't put a hyphen in there because it will upset it and the game won't recognize it. Okay, so what we'll do then was just take our title and our description here. We'll bring that over, so we'll put it under this one here, like so. And then we need to bring in our multiplayer is true, if you want to use this with a multiplayer setup. And we can put that under our icon here. And where we did in the originally in the Tektron, we only had the one mod to actually work with, but what we're trying to do here is incorporate two mods in one mod desk setup, so that we only have one zip folder and not two. I'm going to copy over our extra source files and everything else to do with the additional the add store category lure, so we need that to obviously have it register as a carrot harvesting setup in the actual store. And then what we need to do is obviously bring in our parts for our combine animated articulated axis, because I can't speak today, sorry about that. So we need to obviously work with that, and we're not going to change anything there. What we did with the Tektron, we're not going to change anything there. We're going to leave it exactly as it is. And again, to get all of these parts here, just go into your SDK folder, look for combine animated articulated axis, and just copy the whole part over. So just copy everything from there to there and put it in your mod desk. So that's what we're going to do now with the newly created one for this setup. So we'll create a couple lines and we'll just paste that one into there like so. And then we obviously have our L10N stuff we need to bring in, so we're going to bring that in. This is going to be working for our additional add store category setup for carrot harvesting. So we're going to copy that and bring that in. So we'll create a couple more lines and paste that into there. What I might actually do while we're in here, I'm just going to put in that like so. So it says carrot harvesting, not carrot harvester. So then the next thing we need to do is bring in our new categories for the actual store category. Again, going back to our add store category lure script up here. And we put that in our store items. So I'm going to make a copy of that one. Again, unfortunately, you're going to have to just type this in. So a lot of pausing of the video and whatever else may be involved. And we have all of our setup in there. I'm going to work with the same picture we had before, that's fine, not really bothered about the picture as such. So we have all of our parts in there, no problem. So I'll just bring this something like that. Okay, so we have that one set up and we don't need anything further from our mod desk on the original setup that I created, because there's nothing else in there. Just making sure I'm working with the right one here. So we'll save that one, close it down. Hopefully that's the right one. So yeah, what we need to do then is obviously build our mod desk up to incorporate the HR9 as well. So we have our HR9 here, which is our XML. We need to basically link all that into our mod desk. So what we need to do then is, within here, we need to bring in the next set of parts for our type. So if I then come into here, we'll go into the one I've already created, again just to make it easier for the video. So we don't need to bring anything else in up here if we don't want to. You may want to change the name that it's actually set up to, so you could possibly rename this if you wanted to. So it's something like Holmer Carrot Harvester Pack or something like that. But obviously if you make it massively long, it won't then fit into the description page on the mods list. But we'll just go with that for now, just see what happens. So it's a Holmer Carrot Harvester Pack, because that's what we're trying to create here with the TerraDos and the HR9 cutter head. So I'm going to paste that into there as well, so it's in our description, like so. Okay, so what we need to do then is obviously bring over our defoliator cutter animated. Again, you can look in the SDK folder under vehicle types and find all of this information. Don't make any changes to any of this, we're just going to literally put that in. So we'll come over and we'll put that into here like so. And then we've already got our carrot harvesting section for our our add store category setup, so we don't need that. We don't need the new category section because we've already got that, but we do need the store item for our Holmer HR9 XML. So we're going to copy that and bring that over, and we'll just create a new line under here and then paste that into there like so. So this particular mod desk is now incorporating both mods within itself, and it will point to the correct XMLs and all the rest of it. Okay, fantastic. So we can close that one down because we don't need that anymore. So the next thing we need to do obviously is create our store items and our icons and everything else. So I can close that one down. So what we need to do then obviously is bring in our store pictures. So what I'm going to do then is, again, like I did before, I'm going to go into my Steam folder here, Steam Apps, Common, Farming Simulator 17, Data, Store. And we need to look for our Grimmy section somewhere in amongst all of this stuff and bring over our appropriate parts. We have our HR9 and our TerraDos T4-40, so we're going to copy both of those and bring them in like so. I can now close that folder down, don't need it anymore. So then what we're going to do, like we did before, we're going to open up these and then resize them 256 by 256. I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to change the name here to Icon, like so, and we'll save DXT5 no bitmap, and we'll save that one. So we now have our icon on our store for our HR9, so we can do exactly the same here for our TerraDos 256 by 256. OK that. File, Save As, and we'll change this one to Icon as well. Icon, Holmer TerraDos, and we'll save DXT5 no bitmap. Okay, fantastic. Now the other thing is we need to bring in is the actual image for our store category. You can use whatever you want, so if you wanted to use the Holmer TerraDos, then you could use this one, the store one, like that. I'm going to use the this one, the Grimmy, just because that's what I had it set up as originally, so I'm just going to bring that in as well, and that will be our setup in our mod desk here for our additional store category or add store category section. So that's what will be displayed there. So what I'm going to do here for the icon is I'm just going to, for this particular video, just to get it moving on, I'm going to just use the same image again here for our store, the Tektron, that's fine, and we'll just paste that in up here like so, and we can go ahead and save. You can experiment with that and put the icon file name to whatever you want it to be. You could use the Holmer TerraDos as the icon, whatever works for you. I'm just going to go with that. Okay, so we've now set up our mod desk to work with all the bits and pieces. We've adjusted the actual XMLs for the units themselves. We've added our add store category setup script, and we've applied the changes we needed to in our mod desk and whatever else. So really that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously for me it's much easier because I'm just copying and pasting stuff. So like I said before, there may be a lot of pausing of the video and you'll just have to type it in. But you know, if you want to get this working, I had to do that to get all this working myself. So, you know, there's that. Okay, so we've now pretty much got everything where it needs to be. So what we're going to do then is we're going to change the folder name because I don't want it to be just called that. So if we actually go into here, I'm going to call this FS17 and we'll just call it carrot pack. That'll do. Again, that's something you're going to have to work with and just name it whatever you want to call it. Okay, so we can now zip this up. Again, I'm using WinRAR. You can use 7-zip or whatever you want. And we can get that into our mod folder and test it all out. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so I wanted to show you this page here. So we have our icon, which I've used the Grimmy for the icon itself. That's fine. Again, you can put whatever you want in there. And we have our Holmer Carrot Harvester pack. I've got obviously some other mods in here to just work with all of this sort of stuff. Yeah, so we're basically just going to click start. We'll load into the map and we'll see if we can actually purchase these items. Okay, so I've purchased them already. What I've done here is I've basically purchased the Holmer and the cutter head, and I've also purchased the good old Tektron, which we know works already, but I'll just show you them in the store here. So we've changed our category name to carrot harvesting from carrot harvester, so we now have potato harvesting, carrot harvesting and beet harvesting. Again, you could change the actual icon if you wanted to, so it displays something different than the Grimmy, but you know, for this it's perfectly fine. So if we actually go into here, we've got our Holmer TerraDos, our HR9 header and our Tektron. I haven't changed any text down here because I didn't feel there's any need to, because obviously it doesn't mention anything about sugar beets or anything else. The actual Tektron did actually say in something in here like for the harvesting of potatoes and blah blah blah, but all the rest of it. But for these they don't actually specify sugar beets, so didn't really feel it was required to change anything there. It does say here that it's obviously this machine can harvest the indicated fruit types. I can't get that to work for some reason, but we're in carrot harvesting, so pretty sure that is self-explanatory. And they do purchase obviously because I've bought them, they're there. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to jump into the actual Tektron first. You can see the game extension is showing that they're 85% removed tops. So we'll jump into this. I actually bought the field already, so I didn't make that same mistake again trying to harvest it with a field I didn't own. So I've already unfolded the unit and everything, so we'll just turn it on and we are harvesting carrots, no problem. We knew this one worked because it worked before. We have all of our particle animations, smoke, carrots, fill plane, etc, etc. Most importantly, we still have our carrot home. Fantastic. Does the Holmer work though? This is the thing. So I've already unfolded it here and everything else, so we'll just fire this up, get it into the field, and fingers crossed, and there we go. We are now harvesting carrots with our Holmer mod. All integrated into one zip. We have our animations all working on the header there. Hopefully you can see that. I can't get a better view than that, unfortunately. I could maybe go in camera and no, it didn't really show me anything better. But they are working. I can see them. Hopefully you can as well, with our smoke and all bits and pieces. Fill planes, particle animations and all the rest of it. And again, most importantly, we have our carrot home. So there we go. We've now created two different mods for the same thing. We've taken a potato harvester the Grimmy Tektron 415 and turned it into a carrot harvester. We've taken the Holmer T4-40 and converted that also into a carrot harvester. In the correct category, we've created our new category, carrot harvesting, with all of those parts in there and all the rest of it. Now, I wouldn't for 1 minute think that you could incorporate the Tektron and the Holmer into one zip, but I wouldn't particularly want it that way anyway, because I want to have the opportunity, the options to go for one or the other. You might not want to have the Grimmy in your mod folder or vice versa, you know, again with the Holmer, so it gives you options to have one or the other, but obviously with the header and the Holmer, they are required, both require each other to work, so having them in one single zip I think is a good idea. But you know, you can make them separate if you wanted to. I did that the first time round, made them separate zip folders, but then for this particular video I wanted to just see if I could actually get it to work where they were all incorporated into the one zip, which I've done. So fantastic. Just another quick update video just to show you that can get the Holmer to work. I'm not quite sure why the Holmer multi-rotor pack doesn't work. There may be something in there because it has so many different fruit types registered with peanuts and all the other bits and pieces. There may be some conflicts there. Don't know, because I don't have peanuts on this particular map, or onions. There may be something going on there that it doesn't. That's why the reason why it's not working for me, because I don't have those fruit types registered. Don't know. Didn't really want to mess about with that mod. It's not mine, it's somebody else's, so figured why not just make my own and then see what we got from there. And as you can see, all clearly working. Thank you very much for watching. I'm ShyWizard, and I will catch you on the next one.